Hi everybody, my name is Burak and I'm working as a product and solutions specialist at Google. Today I'm going to talk about optimizing with conversion data. As some of the people in this room do not have conversion tracking installed, some of the people have already had it installed and they're in advanced level. I'm going to try to cater to both audiences. I have a little bit of everything. I hope you will learn something from this presentation. And I'm really excited to be here because the audience is great, the content is great, and I think it's been a great event so far. I hope it will go the same. So I will cover first using conversion data to become a profit-driven marketer. This is more of a strategy and approach to our optimizations. And I'm thinking about spending maybe 10 to 15 minutes here. Then I'll talk about account structure and conversion tracking setup. This is, I think, important to go over some basic settings in conversion tracking setup because, as I said, some people may need to start their conversion tracking now. And that's why it is a good idea to go over some basic settings. I'm planning to spend around 15 minutes there. And at the third part, I will talk about optimizing keywords, creatives, and bits. I'll share some best practices here. And I'd like to ask you this question. Can I see hands if you recognize this person? Nobody? Okay, that's good. He's the guy who said this famous advertising quote, "Half of the money I spend on advertising is wasted, and the trouble is I don't know which half." His name is John Wanamaker, and he's a US businessman, and he's considered one of the pioneers of marketing. With conversion tracking, we hope that you are optimizing your budgets, your accounts, so that your budget is not wasted, and you can even get the most out of your accounts. Let's start with the first part, how you can become a profit-driven marketer. Here we have three pillars, and the pillars are capturing demand, maximizing profit, and measuring everything. Capturing demand is mostly about not limiting yourself by budgets or ad scheduling or any other thing. And maximizing profit is focusing on profitable conversions and maximizing your profitable conversions. And measuring everything is not only about conversion tracking or Google Analytics, but it's also about measuring your customer lifetime value. Customer lifetime value is important because it's not only that transaction that counts or that acquisition that counts, but it's all about the lifetime value of one customer that you acquire. That customer can come back to you and purchase things in the next 10 years. And they may not really need to click on your ads, or you may not have to spend on advertising to get the second or other successive purchases. So I really got really excited, so I got a dry mouth, sorry. It's really exciting to be here. So I have an example here, which is about kind of an old approach, which focuses on CPA. And we have seen this recently, focusing on a certain CPA and trying to hit that CPA without considering the volume of conversions. This new approach says that you should focus on the volume of conversions so that you will maximize your profit, no matter how much per transaction CPA is. For the people who are new to conversion tracking, CPA means cost per acquisition, or in other words, it is cost per conversion. You can think of it that way, but that's on a per transaction basis. And imagine we have this case of $20 CPA. Our average position is number 4, which is on the right-hand side, ads. And we're getting 100 conversions. And as you can see, we have the sales price, unit cost, and ROI is 5 to 1, and we get this profit of 16,000. Imagine that we're testing this number at CPA of $30, which is like 50% increase. However, as you know from the AdRank formula, which is maximum CPC times quality score, your position improves. And your ads come from right-hand side to the top slot. Top slot is not, I don't mean only position 1 or position 2. It could be 3 as well. It is the position, it's the place on top of organic search results. When it comes there, on average, that's a Google average, the click-through rate is 15 times higher on average. It can change from industry to industry, from account to account, but on average, 15 times higher click-through rate you get. Or out of 100 impressions, you get 15 times more clicks on the top slot. And that's why. And I'm not even going to assume that we get 15 times more conversions. Let's make it a bit harder, this example. And we're getting only 3 times more conversions than the right-hand side. Sales price is the same, cost is the same. Our ROI even drops per transaction to 3 to 1. And our total profit gets multiplied by 3 with a 46,000. This is the approach that we recommend, which is focusing on maximizing profitable conversions. What does profitable conversion mean? It means even if you're making 1 cent of profit, it is technically a profitable conversion. We hope that you make much more profit, hopefully hundreds of euros, but it still makes sense to get a large volume of conversions that are profitable. Instead of fixating on, I just want to get a CPA of 20 euros and I get 10 conversions a day. This is not really going to grow your business. Okay. This is the summary. You'll get less ROI per transaction, but the additional conversions will bring you more total profit. Let's look at it in another way. As you see, CPA increases, and as CPA increases, per transaction profit will decrease in a linear curve. However, as I said, because of the user behavior, your total profits will get maximized when you are a little bit flexible with your CPA and try top positions, top slot. I don't necessarily mean I'm repeating this again, necessarily number 1 position. It could be number 2, 3, but top of the organic search results is really important to drive all your conversions. And as long as you're getting profitable conversions, at some point, you will maximize your profit. And this point, that optimum spot, here it's $30 CPA, is something that you will find yourself by testing in your accounts. It is also, I can give an example, like, would you prefer getting 10 conversions with $20 profits, which will bring you 200, or would you rather get 1,000 conversions with €1 profit? At the end, you will get 1,000, 5 times more profit. This is something like that. And I don't want to leave it in such a fluffy way, let's say. I'll show you some real-life examples, some real screenshots in the coming slides, so that you will have an idea of how you can implement those changes and apply these best practices. Let's start with account structure. I'm sure you have seen this funnel from analytics, but this is not only applicable to analytics, this is also applicable to user behavior. As a user on Google that is on the awareness stage would probably be using keywords such as gift ideas for kids. And at the action stage, a user will probably search something like buy Samsung 16 gigabyte MP3 player, which is a more action-oriented search term. And the key thing is, you should be maximizing your conversions by picking out those keywords or search terms that have the highest conversion rates and isolating them in separate campaigns with separate budgets, so that your lower conversion rate keywords do not consume that budget. Because what I usually see in most of the accounts is that in one campaign, we have, for example, 4 ad groups. In one ad group, we have the brand terms. In another one, we have competitor terms. In another ad group, we have generic terms, like that. And the budgets are usually small. And what happens? Most of the budget is consumed by competitor terms or generic terms, and the highest conversion rate keywords, which will bring you the highest number of conversions at the end of the day, does not get enough impressions. So it makes sense to separate those highest conversion or conversion rate keywords and to keep them even in one campaign, one ad group, but give them a separate budget so that you will maximize the traffic out of that in a 24-hour period, and you will maximize those conversions. And I'll show you one example from the usual account structure graph that you see in the Help Center. I'm not going to repeat this. I'm sure you all know this. I'll tell you something different, which is, for example, here we have electrostore.com account, and we have 2 campaigns, televisions, cameras, 3D TVs, HD TVs. what I'm saying is, if you are getting lots of conversions from HDTV, it could be because your prices may be good, you may be giving excellent service on HDTVs. For any reason, if HDTVs are converting the best in your account, then separate them into a separate campaign so that its budget will not be consumed by 3D TVs or any other ad group inside the campaign. Because as you know, the difference between a campaign and ad group is you can set daily budgets for campaigns, but you cannot for ad groups. And for campaigns, you can set the settings. You can give different settings. Maybe you just want to target London, for example, for HDTVs, because for some reason you realized that in London, HDTVs are sold much more. You cannot change at the ad group level, but you can change it at the campaign level. So let's quickly go over conversion tracking settings. I'll start with the main screen. When you first set up a conversion tracking, you see this screen. You can reach that screen from your account as well. When you click on your already created conversion tracking, you will see that in the settings part. Conversion category is important. You can choose leads, purchases, or view of a key page. I want to repeat this. This is a really important point. You don't need to track only purchases or e-commerce transactions. You can also put the conversion tracking code to your contact us page or any other page that you think it is valuable. The next one is conversion window and count. Conversion window is important if you are selling a product or service that has a bit longer decision time cycle. What I mean by is that when you're thinking about buying a travel package, you may need to ask your friends, your significant other. It's not just a decision that you give in a minute and, okay, let's go to Barcelona and spend 1 week there. It takes some time. Or even, for example, buying some larger items such as furniture and so on, it takes some time. Or with a mortgage application, you may need to first check the rates and everything, then decide. And it may take maybe 40 days, 45 days. If you're in such a business, if it takes really long time after checking out all the details from the user's perspective, then it's a great idea to increase your conversion from 30 days to more, whatever you think it's suitable, because the default setting is 30 days. The next one is count, whether we should count unique conversions or all conversions. This is very, very important because in most of the accounts I see, especially on retail and travel accounts that have e-commerce on their website, that are getting transactions on their website, they usually look at unique conversions. Unique conversions only track the ad clicks that end up with one or more conversions. There, we're not seeing the number of transactions, but we are only looking at ad clicks that resulted in one or more conversions. What I mean by is that one user clicks on your ad, comes to your website, makes a purchase, then subscribes to your newsletter, and then registers for your website, let's say. And imagine that you have set up all these 3 actions as different conversion tracking. And what happens is, under unique conversions, you will see a conversion only one, because that is one ad click that resulted in 3 different transactions or conversions, but it's just one ad click. With all conversions, you are tracking all transactions. So in that case, for the same user, it will write as 3 conversions. Let's move on with conversion terms and definitions. And here, converted clicks is the same as unique conversions. This is the default view in your user interface. And after you start implementing conversion tracking, it will be shown on your user interface, but only converted clicks. Converted click, as I said, is the same thing as unique conversions, and they will only count the number of ad clicks that result in a conversion, in one or more conversion. You can think of it like it as a unique user, but that's not really accurate. It's best to think of it as converted clicks. I know it sounds a bit confusing at the beginning, but you may be thinking like it's each ad click that resulted in one or more conversions. If the same user clicks on your ad again, for example, tomorrow, and converts, it will still be counted as one more converted click. The other metric that I recommend for e-commerce or any transaction-based business is using conversions. You need to add these settings from your user interface by going to customize columns and adding them manually. If you're, as I said, doing some transaction, getting credit card purchases and everything on your website, and if you're tracking this as a conversion, you should add these columns. Estimated total conversions is a great way to see if you're getting significant traffic from mobile or tablets. Only the estimated total conversions, the one you see at the top right, only that one is added by default to your user interface. The rest of the information are not added. So I really recommend you add cost per estimated total conversions, estimated conversions rate, and value if you assign a value. It is really important to track if you get significant traffic of mobile and tablet traffic that might end up in desktop. Let's have a quiz. I'll let you read first. We have Paulina. She's selling and renting musical instruments, and she's also offering music lessons. And she wants to drive online sales and inquiries. She wants to track new customers along with the inquiries and sales. So which method would you recommend she chooses for each conversion action? For A, can I see the hands? Just a few? Okay. For B, unique for both? Okay. And for C? Perfect. Yeah, it's C. It's all for online sales because, as I said, it's a transaction, and we are interested in each transaction. Because from each transaction, we are earning revenue, we're earning money. That each one of it is important. But for inquiries about music lessons, one person can send the same web form 3 times in a row. And we are not interested in the second or third inquiry. Because as long as that person is not sending inquiries about her brother or sister, then it's that only unique inquiry that we are interested in. Let's move on to keywords on search terms. Here in your account, you will see under the details button, search terms section. And here you can choose one keyword and only look at the search terms related to that, or you can choose all and you can look at the ad group level or campaign level or at the even account level, which search terms triggered your ads. The difference between keyword and search terms is keywords are a way to control your ads and a way to tell the Google system that, okay, show my ads when user searches on these terms. And you also have an additional layer of control with match types. Here, I think I have a good example here with a broad match Marbella hotels, and we're looking only at this selected keyword. And we're going to see which search terms triggered our ads. I'm not sure if you can see it, but at the beginning, we have, this is also this is sorted according to impression numbers. So the highest impression in the past 30 days is Marbella, Spain. It is not very 100% related to Marbella hotels. It's a bit too generic. And because it did not bring many conversions, the advertiser chose to exclude it or add it as a negative. If you're experimenting, if you're interested in discovering new keywords, broad match is great. So you will get some ideas, some different search terms, and you will discover your own target audience, your user base. If you're not interested in that much, discovering new keywords, what's going on, if you really want to get some direct response as soon as possible, then it's best to use broad match modifier, the plus sign in front of each keyword. If you don't add the plus signs, Google will show your ads on synonyms as well. This is called expanded broad match, and Google will show your ads on queries. It thinks that they are very related. It's a good thing so that you're not going to miss any queries that's related. For example, you may be selling, let's say you're selling televisions, and you only have the keyword television, and you don't have TV for sale. When somebody searches for TV for sale, but you don't have it as a keyword, only television for sale, then Google understands that TV is related to television and shows your ad. This is done for a good intent. But sometimes it may not happen as expected. So if you want a direct response as soon as possible, we really recommend that you should add plus sign in front of each keyword. Let's look at all keywords. By looking at all search terms, you can do this at the campaign, ad group, or account level. You will get the search terms that trigger your ads. In many instances, you will not see the same search term happening again and again, not duplicating itself. But in some cases, if you use the same term with different match types, you will see them happening again and again. And that's why I picked this a bit more complex, let's say, example. And inside the red brackets, you'll see Hotel Barcelona. And you will see them happening 4 times. Maybe in the second page or at the third page, we also might have the same search terms. And just looking at a divided data, all these impressions, clicks, and conversions are all separate for each search term. And we don't want to be looking at them separately. In order to combine them together, Excel pivot table is a great idea. In pivot tables, all duplicate items are got together, they are combined. Their impressions, clicks, conversions, all are combined. And then you can create your own columns and write your own formula. For example, for CTR, you will write clicks per impressions, and you will divide each column by each other. And you can do your own analysis, and it really works wonders. I really recommend that if you're especially managing a large account. OK, here's the keyword tips checklist. Make broad match modifier your first choice if you especially want to get direct response and conversions as soon as possible. It's plus sign. And add all relevant search terms as keywords into relevant ad groups. When you discover some new keywords, new search terms, that are not in your ad group, and if you think that they are relevant, add them. Because when you add them, if it matches the search query, the user's term, your quality score will be better. Even though minimal, but it will still bring you some savings in terms of CPC and great benefit to the quality score. If you discover new and related queries, but let's say in terms of keywords, they are different. For example, in the Marbella, Spain example, we have Marbella hotels, and we have seen Marbella, Spain is triggering our ads. And let's imagine that it's bringing lots of conversions and very good performing search term. Then it makes sense to create a separate ad group and write a separate ad text for it. Because when the users think of it yourself as an internet or Google user, when you see the exact search terms that you wrote in a search result or at the beginning or at a title, you are more inclined to click on that. All users are similar in that sense. So that's why if you can write a separate ad text for a separate keyword, it always makes sense to create a new ad group and keep all the different variations around the root keyword and keeping the root keyword at the ad title so that it will get bolded and your CTRs will be much higher than it is in a different ad group with a different ad title, ad text. Add campaign level negative keywords. Don't spend time just adding the same negative keyword, for example, games to the ad group level for 10 different ad groups every time. There's campaign level negative keyword feature. You can add them at the campaign level, and it will impact all the ad groups underneath. Be liberal with negative keywords. We don't have expansion, the feature I said, expanded broad match. We don't have that in negative keywords. So imagine you don't want to appear on game-related search terms. Then you need to add game, games, gaming, gamer, all that sort of variations in negative keywords, even though it's broad match. If you only add game as a negative keyword, your ad might be shown on games search term. For that, you need to add it as well. OK, we're moving on ad texts. I'll start with a real-life example. The query is pet insurance. And these are the top 3 ads at the top slot. There are some features that are really important that will boost your CTR and conversions. And because with increased CTR, you will get higher qual score, and that will help lower your CPCs. The first one is numbers. Always use numbers in your ad text and try to have them at the ad title, because it gives a sense of trust and some expectation to the user. The users that see this ad will know that they're going to save 35%. It's certain. You can give even specific numbers like 31%, 32%, whatever, and you're telling them that web fees up to 6,000 are covered, and from this amount of cost to you. It is really important to use numbers. You may be creative in that. You may not want to give prices, but it's okay. You can say 10% off or anything. Just try to use a number. Call to action words. In the past, we thought that call to actions are only about, buy now, sign up now, blah, blah now, but it doesn't have to be like that. If they are not like that, even in this case, they are telling the user what to do, what's going to happen after they click on your ad. This is really important, and this results in higher conversion rates and less bounce rates, because the user knows what's going to happen. With the first one, they're going to get a quick quote. In the other one, third one, they're going to compare pet insurance. If they're interested in comparing pet insurance, they're going to click on that. If they're not interested in comparing pet insurance, if they, let's say, prefer Allianz, they're just going to click on Allianz and buy from Allianz. It is a great way to boost your conversions. Site links. I'm sure you have heard about site links, but when I check the accounts, maybe around half of the accounts I see site links are implemented. Site links is a great thing. On average, the CTRs increase about 30%. This may even go up further. And you will occupy more space with the site links. And this is completely free, no additional cost. And you can write there your additional offers. For example, here in this one, we have the pet insurance term, and E&L.co.uk wrote they have insurances on dogs, pet travel insurance, groom insurance, and all different offers. You can write here numbers as well, and your other offers. If you want to drive another business, if you're doing business development, you can talk about that new business as well. This one is called longer ad headlines. This is not guaranteed. There is no guaranteed way of getting this, but it's a big attention getter from the user side. And with how you can do it is Google looks at your title and description line 1. If it thinks that it's a complete line, or if it's logical to write it together, then it shows as a long headline. And this is a great way to boost the CTR and conversions. In order to promote this, help this happen, you can add a full stop or an exclamation mark at the end of your description line 1. That's a tip that needs to be mentioned. A full stop or an exclamation mark at the end of the description line 1. But it really needs to be, it should sound like a logical sentence. Yeah. And if you don't want this to happen, because sometimes we got some complaints that I don't want longer headlines, then you can add a comma at the end of description line 1. Or if you want it and still have a comma, then delete that comma. Here is the power of display URL. In the past, we used to say at Google, keep your display URL intercapitalized. Then a few years ago, we came up with a policy that says we're going to lowercase all the display URL letters, which you can see here, moneysupermarket.com. In all display URLs, everything is lowercase by the system. However, I think the engineers forgot this feature, because Google sometimes brings this display URL next to a title, and if you write it intercapitalized, it looks as intercapitalized, and it's a good way to capture a little more attention from the users. And don't tell it to Google engineers so that we can get benefit. Okay. Sorry? In the first, next to add title. Next to add title. It is placed next to add title. In the ad. Yes. When you write the display URL in AdWords Editor or in your account, make it intercapitalized. Even though this guy, moneysupermarket.com, they did it, their display URL at the bottom, it is by the system lowercase. However, because display URL came here next to that title, it's intercapitalized. It stays the same. How it is determined by the system depends. If the system cannot bring the description line 1, as in the first example, to the top next to your ad title, then it will bring your display URL, if it makes sense to it. Okay, we have one more here. I think it slipped through the cracks. Here you see 4.9 and 5 stars. This is called review extensions and not launched in every country, sorry. This is a good way, I know, yeah. This is a good way to make your ad more appealing and more attractive. Ask your account manager if it's launched in your country. It's really a great way. It's not guaranteed. Google takes some reviews from third-party resources. If it thinks it's relevant and valuable, it places there. But I think you need to activate it first from your campaign. Ad rotation setting, very important. Especially if you are using conversion tracking, then you should add this manually. It's not added by default. Go to customize columns, campaign settings, ad rotation, add it to your settings, and then you will see such a menu. If you choose optimize for clicks, and let's say you have 4 ads, ad texts in your one ad group, in each ad group, if you choose optimize for clicks, the system will look at the highest CTR ad and pick that ad to show with your keyword. If you have only one ad, it doesn't make sense. It's just that ad showing. If you have 2 or more, then it will look at which one ad to show, because as you know, there are not 2 ads. There's only one ad is shown per query. If you choose optimize for conversions, it will look at both CTR multiplied by conversion rate. It's not just conversion rate. I'm repeating, this is important. It's both CTR and conversion rate. So that's why we recommend this setting for all conversion tracking advertisers, and especially if your conversions are transaction-oriented or they are really valuable for you. We don't recommend rotating evenly or rotating indefinitely because they're, as the name implies, they're showing ads evenly. But we want to show ads that are attractive to the users and that are bringing you more conversions. Sometimes we get this question of, oh, okay, I just added new ads. I wanted to give some chance so that it will get some impressions and we can test it. Don't worry, we already thought about it. And as soon as you add new ads, ad texts to your ad group, we will give it a chance. And until we have statistically reliable and significant data, then we will give a decision looking at the CTR or conversion rate if we should continue with these new ads or if we should serve them less. Checklist. Use numbers. They are really important. They make the users click and convert. Add call to action. Site links, very important. Try to occupy more space over there, especially at the top. Longer ad headlines, very important. Use display URL to get attention and make them there intercapitalized. Create several mobile preferred ad text. This is really important. And add mobile words, such as call us from your mobile. Write action items such as inquire from your mobile now, so that you will let the user know that this person is on mobile, and they will think that, okay, yes, they know it, that I'm on a mobile, so they probably have a mobile website, and I won't have any problems and so on. And it's really important. This is a great CTR booster to tell them that I know you're in mobile, and don't worry, you're all covered. I have a mobile website, you'll be fine. Ad rotation setting to conversions is very, very important, and on average, we got 5% higher conversions only with this setting. No keyword, no ad text changed. I wanted to add this. I know this is a very basic one, but it works getting recorded here. Use the most relevant landing page. If you have 50 different products, don't bring the user to your homepage. Please bring the user to the most relevant homepage so that they will not get lost and just bounce. Bid optimization. I think you all heard about prime shelf space. In brick and mortar stores, this eye-level shelf space are the most expensive, but at the same time, they are the highest sales generating shelf spaces. As you go bottom, the competition decreases. Brands compete for that prime shelf space because it has a reason. Highest number of sales and brand image and everything. We have a similar spot for ads at Google AdWords, and it's the top slot that I was talking about since the beginning. We call it as top spot. It's not necessarily number 1 position ad or number 2 or number 3, but maximum of 3 ads show at the top slot. Here we have 2, because Booking.com obviously is using the techniques I told you here and occupying lots of space, and I think kicked out the 3rd ad to the other side. And these are the right-hand side ads. They're also written as RHS. And we also have some bottom ads at the bottom. I'm sure you have seen them. And we'll get to them later on. But I'd like to ask you quick questions. Which number do you think, in terms of average position, this ad will write on the user interface? Number 1 or 4? Who would say number 1? Just a few. Number 4? Perfect. This is the answer I wanted to see. It writes number 1. Yeah. It writes number 1. Because, well, it's really basic ad ranking positioning. It is the first ad, right? Really easy. It's not the 4th ad. It's the first ad. Here, these are bottom ads. And at the top, this is a Booksy site that was in Blackpool, UK. That's an organic search result. And these ads are bottom ads. For top 10 family Blackpool hotels, top10.com, on your user interface, it will write as number 1. And that's why you were wondering, hey, my average position seems 1.5, and why I'm getting 1% CTR? Why is my CTR low? It's because your ad was appearing on the right-hand side or at the bottom. There is only one report to see if your ads are appearing at the top or at the right-hand side or the bottom. It is called, under segment, top versus other. And I really recommend you use that a lot in an often way. Okay. Let's get to questions after my session. You can grab me. I'll be around because I have a few things on packed agenda. This is an example of top versus other report run. Here you can see impressions. They're close to each other. And you see the clicks. Look at the clicks. Even though the impressions are a bit less than the other side, and other means right-hand side and or the bottom. Top means the top slot, 1, 2, 3, as we know it. Look at the CTR. There's a 15 times difference at the CTR, and this is valid across all regions. I did not select this just to show you something really nice for this purpose. Across all accounts, I see that. And just after this session, check your account. You'll probably see something like that. And I especially picked this example. It's harder for me in front of you because usually what I see is cost per converted clicks are less at the top. That's a bit counterintuitive when you hear it first. But the reason to that is your conversion rate increases, sorry, your CTR is increasing 15 times. You are getting 15 times more clicks than the right-hand side. Your conversion rate usually increases, but let's assume that it's the same. It means that you're going to get 15 times more conversions, right? But your CPC, average CPC, does not increase 15 times. Look at here. The average CPC went from 71 to 108, which is 50% increase. But your clicks and conversions increased 15%. And the formula for cost per converted click is it's cost divided by converted clicks. And your cost is the rate that your cost increases is less than usually converted clicks. That's why your CPA is usually lower at the top side. And this is the most important part for maximizing your profitable conversions. If you stay at the right-hand side, you'll get really low number of conversions, and it may not be a great idea if you want to grow your business. Look at the other search partners one. This is the example I usually see in the accounts. We have less CPA at the top and higher CPA at the other. And converted, look at the volume of converted clicks. At the top, for the above example, for Google Search, they got 12,000 conversions, and at the other, 816. If you're running a business that's transaction-based and everything, it's really important to have this volume coming so that you will maintain your business, you'll maintain your cash flow, and grow your account. Bid optimization. How are you going to get your ads from right-hand side to the top? By using this one, this information under Keywords tab. You click on Customize Columns, Attributes. You should add Estimated Top Page Bid. After you add it, you will see something like this. You will see your keywords, ad group status, maximum CPC, estimated top page bids. Then check your maximum CPCs, compare it with the estimated top page bid. If they are higher, you're fine. You'll probably, maybe around 70% of the impressions you'll appear on top slot. If it's less than that, increase it to minimum the same level. I usually recommend and implement around 30% more because I'm usually working with broad match modified keywords, and we have some variations. It's because broad match or broad match modifier, and this number is given only for the exact match version of that keyword. 15 is only for the exact match version, but I have a phrase match there. I have at the bottom, I have a broad match one as well, so there are other variations which could be they may require some higher top page bid. So it's a good idea to multiply in an Excel sheet, for example. You can create a column, multiply that number with 1.3, and then in an AdWords editor format, you can format it and upload to your account immediately. In 10 seconds, you're done. Bidding tips checklist. Use top versus other report. This is very important. Try to be on top of the organic search results. It's not that we want to increase the CPCs or something. It's really for you to get the maximum number of conversions, because this is about user behavior. Not many people know that Google has ads all around. I didn't know that Google had ads before I started Google, working for Google. So not many people really know it, and they think of ads at the top slot as a continuation of organic search results. And that's why they have a trust subconsciously, and probably, that's my theory, and they click on it. But for right-hand side ads, they're like, they're not organic search results, they're something different. And that's my theory why the click-through rates and other conversions, other metrics are lower at the right-hand side. In order to decide on a keyword's performance, test it on top slot. You look at a keyword, you see CTR1, and you may think that, oh, that's really bad CTR, let's delete it, let's pause it. No, don't. You can see top versus other segmentation at the keyword level as well. Check it out. If it appeared most of the times on the top slot and still got a 1% CTR, that's okay, delete it. But if not, if most of the impressions are on the right-hand slot, then give it a chance on the top slot and run it for some time, a few 10,000 impressions, and then look at it again, if the CTR increased or not. For many keywords, or for all of your accounts, settle down here means it depends on you. 70%, 80% of impressions, you're settled down in top positions, then move to automation. I think we covered this in yesterday's presentations about automation, conversion optimizer, and eCPC. I usually recommend moving to conversion optimizer after you optimize your accounts, not just right at the beginning, because I haven't seen very good results at the beginning without optimizing. And with a number of conversions, if they are 10 or more, conversion optimizer is a great tool to maximize even further your conversions. Opportunities tab is an easy way, is a great way to see what you are missing in your account. This is all system generated. It's next to your campaign tab at the top in your user interface. For example, in this one, this account is missing some site links, it's warning about that. You can add these site links. In the other one, you're missing call extensions, you can add them. So it's giving you really the areas that you're not covering. This is reminding you about all these good stuff. This is about creating new ad groups, and you can set location bid adjustment in this example, and you can raise your budgets in order to maximize more traffic. 3 things to remember. I'm summing it up. First of all, capture the demands. Try to be always there, always relevant, and always optimized to your target audience and the search terms that they are using. Maximize profit by focusing on maximizing the number of profitable conversions, focusing on the conversion volume instead of only specific CPA. And measure everything, not just analytics, conversion tracking. Measure your customer lifetime value so that you can give better decisions on your CPA. That's all from me. Thank you for your attention, and have a great day.